everyone. So we are going to do a few minutes of a little FAQ about the new emotionally available offerings. So this is going to include discussions about our membership and our subscription, a little bit about what's actually in those things. There's a few different different offerings that get lumped into those things, which I'm excited to tell you about. And then also just some questions I've been getting. So the more I've been posting on social media, sharing what I do, I get questions like, how did you become a dance teacher? How did you become a yoga teacher? What does your work week even look like? I don't understand what you do. How is this your job? Et cetera, et cetera. So if you are thinking about becoming a teacher, I'll kind of cover some of those things. Obviously, it's my story. Your story will be different than your own, but maybe that is helpful to you. Okay, so go ahead and have a seat, get comfortable, get your cup of coffee, whatever you need. And my name is Deanna with Emotionally Available. Emotionally Available is my business of yoga, dance, and fitness classes online. It got started in 2020. Lots of stuff happened in 2020. And one of those things was I lost my job. So the studio that I had been previously teaching at for 6 years went out of business. It was a few months between, us shutting down and going home and not being able to teach versus knowing that we were going out of business. But in the end, we did go out of business. And so with that knowledge, whether we were going to make it or not make it, but we were home, I knew that I wanted to start something of my own. So I did. So I started Emotionally Available. I'd already been kind of using social media under that name. And I had also been teaching a few freelance classes. If you know North Street Beer Station in Raleigh, we did some classes there. And I started using that name more officially, Emotionally Available. So that was March 2020. It became like an official registered business name, which is really, really exciting for me. And then, it's just grown since then. So at first, I just did a few classes. I think I did Saturday Fizz and Flow online, and then we did ballet conditioning throughout the week, and that was really fun. As the year went on, obviously life started coming back, though all very challenging for everyone I know. And I got a new job at a new dance studio, and it just went great. And I was like, wow, this is like new life coming back, new job. Emotionally Available was still really important to me. So I knew we had to grow and we had to form some more specific content and kind of shape what I wanted for this online studio that was being created. So we'll fast forward to 2021. We are now doing the Emotionally Available relaunch. And I really got to sit down and think, well, what do I really want to be offering? Instead of just random classes, what do I really want to offer? And what I really wanted to offer was an experience where we have classes, options for one-on-one coaching, and a really good ability to bring our community together through mindfulness. So instead of just coming to learn how to do some new step, that's really important, in a ballet class, I want you to have the ability to dig deeper of why you're even here in the ballet class. So maybe you want to kind of do some work and thinking like, why did it take me so long to get back to ballet again? What is it in society that told me that I didn't deserve to do ballet? And let's kind of dig into those hard feelings. So when we come back to ballet, we know we're there for a long time and we know we belong. Same thing applies for yoga. Why did what about yoga makes me so happy and fulfilled? What are some of the ways I can bring my intention from yoga into all movement styles that I do, whether it be yoga, ballet, or fitness? So this kind of deep work was really important to me. So we started with a 6-week series. That was really cool. And then I realized that my 6-week series was essentially a membership program. And that monthly was going to be more appealing to people. So the Emotionally Available membership was born. Emotionally Available membership includes the MA library. So this library is mini classes. They are 10 to 20 minutes long, and they are in yoga, fitness, dance. And this library, month to month, is 20 to 30 classes. They get rotated in and rotated out, so you feel like you keep the ones you love or get a variety coming in. And what that's going to do is give you the on-demand option. So the on-demand option to do whatever you want to do. You want to take class at 6 a.m.? Great. You want to take a class at 4 p.m.? Great. Maybe you want to do full body cardio, deep stretch, and that's it. Maybe you want to do some quick plies and tendus for ballet, and then you want to do a yoga class, and you're like, oh, I really should meditate. So then you jump into a meditation as well. Great, you can totally make it your own. And I love the 10 to 20 minute classes because then you have the opportunity to stack them. So you could just do one off on your lunch break or with the 15 minutes you have right now, or you can stack them and make them a little bit more of a full experience, 30, 45 minutes, even an hour long. So those are your mostly available library things. When you are on the membership, you're going to be able to go in and see all the videos that you have access to. If you're not a member, you can rent a specific video, or you can just join the membership, and they'll give you those options when you click a video that you want to watch but may not have access to yet. So in addition to the MA Library mini classes, any weekly classes I do live also go into the mostly available library. So right now I'm teaching 45-minute ballet conditioning on Monday, barre and conditioning on Monday, and then a 60-minute slow flow and meditation. Those classes also go into the mostly available library. So that means that maybe you can't make it to the live class. That's totally cool. You get to come and enjoy them recorded in the emotionally available library. Those usually get uploaded within a week of the actual class because I do have to pull it down, do some editing, and put it back up. But that's the emotionally available libraries. Regular classes, the recordings, plus all the mini classes, and that's going to be really nice. When you do the membership, this is included. When you do the subscription, this is included. The most available library is like the cornerstone of the subscription. That's really the whole point of the subscription. I imagine a subscription is like when you subscribe to a magazine and you get to read through at your own pace. The membership is the magazine that you get to read through at your own pace, plus a whole bunch more interactive options. So let's start talking about those. So the other options you also have are, of course, to come to the live classes. You can come to the live classes automatically as part of your membership, or you can always take a one-off if you're not part of the membership. Maybe you're just doing the subscription or you're just stopping by for the first time. Your live classes are generally going to be on Monday. They're 45 minutes or an hour. And these are classes that repeat through a whole month or a month or two. I'm excited to offer lots of different weekly classes, but I find that keeping them on the schedule for 4 to 8 weeks is a good opportunity to see if people like them and also to make sure there's lots of good content from them in our library. So the live classes, even if you're a member, you do have to register for, so just keep that in mind. So far we have two different things, the library and the live weekly classes. Once again, the subscription gets the library, the membership gets the library and access to the live classes. This third thing we have is the 6-class series. So this came out of my 6-week series that we used to offer. And I really like 6 classes. I think it's one of the best ways to kind of grow. It's the right amount of time to really dive into a new topic. So right now I'm working on a ballet fundamentals for ultimate beginners. I think I might do a ultimate beginner yoga next. I'm really excited to offer some more jazz. I think one day a 6-class series could be a jazz. But these 6-class series are your course style offerings. So they're self-paced, they're at your own time. I recommend that you do them in about 6 weeks for 6 classes. And you can watch them multiple times. So once you get this package of 6 classes, you're then going to have access to them for a certain amount of time to complete that, more than 6 weeks. And you're going to then be able to self-pace how you want to take them. If you are in that 6-class series, you're going to get messages from me to offer some one-on-one coaching to see how that progression is going. When we are really progressing in that 6-class series, I think it's really important that you get the most out of it. The MA Library, the regular open live classes, of course, you can always request one-on-one coaching from me. In the membership, it's included. But if you're in that 6-week series in particular, I'm going to really reach out to you to see what you're doing and how it's working for you. If you're signing up for a progressing class like that, I want to be there for you. So that's the 6-class series. Members automatically get it each month. My subscribers, you get a discount. So that's going to be really, really nice to have. Now, the 6-class series is now our third offering. So we have the mostly available library, the live weekly classes, and our 6-class series. The fourth one is any events and workshops. So, for example, in June, I'm going to offer solstice. So, our summer solstice is going to be a yoga, mindfulness, and a little bit of dance workshop. And it's going to be in June after the actual solstice. So, that's going to be really fun. Members, you have full access to that already. Subscribers, you get priority booking. I think you're going to have access to that one automatically as well, which will be great. But generally, workshops and one-off classes are going to be discounted for my subscribers too. So once again, the subscribers is all about that library, and you get priority and discounted for everything else that you do, right? Okay, so now we have library, live classes, 6-class series, workshops, and events. And then we have these resources over here. So resources are things I'm going to send out weekly to our members. And it's going to be things like mindfulness prompts. It's going to be things like reading lists, suggestions of things to ruminate on during your movement journey, things like that I really kind of mold together that big growth we want to see when we start new movement. Emotionally Available is all about finding out what your body is truly capable of and not doing it with big goals or intense activities, but doing it in mindful activities that we choose, we feel comfortable, we feel safe in, and then we grow and without even realizing it, start blasting through these boundaries we thought we had for ourselves. It's my way of really trying to bring intuition into the forefront of our fitness and our movement lives. We talk about intention a lot in yoga. Don't know why we don't talk about it more in other movement styles. And I think our intention is proof, when we set an intention or a goal, is proof that our intuition exists. And we can tap into that feeling and say, I know in my gut that I should be trying this and I deserve it. Or I believe in my gut, I don't feel safe doing that yet, and I'm going to put that on pause. So if you're looking for the high intensity, ultra crazy, big, intense fitness thing, this is not it. We are doing the opposite. We're hitting the brakes and becoming really mindful of everything we do. And I have a feeling that as you bring that mindset into your activity world, you're gonna like just shoot through the roof on what you can accomplish. It's how I feel. Movement usually works for me, and I have a feeling other people too. That's kind of cool. Okay, so those are our membership options versus the subscription. Remember, your subscription is the library plus priority or discounts to everything else, and the membership is everything. So those are your options. I think they're really cool. If you're not ready to jump into either, we have some options to just take them one off. So you can come to summer solstice just as a one-off, and you just pay the regular price and you join us. Or if you want to try, let's say, 2 classes that you want to then have access to, you get access to classes on demand for 72 hours when you just book one in the MA library. And that's a good option too. So hopefully you do what you're comfortable with, you grow, and you take things at your own pace. But send me a message if you're wondering what might be best for you. I've put out some little what are they called? Images to show you kind of the differences between those things. And I hope that's really helpful. I think it was my last post or second to last post that I made on social media. Okay, so if you're wondering, who am I? And how did I get here? And what possibly am I doing from all of this emotionally available stuff? I've received some funny questions recently. One is, what does my work week actually look like? Yeah, so obviously my business is emotionally available, but I do other work. So I have a yoga studio that I work at, and I teach a few classes there during the week. That's yoga inspired. So if you're in Raleigh, come see me, especially if you want to come join me in person. Those are in-person classes. They offer them virtual as well, but obviously the biggest difference, the excitement being that we are in person now, which is great. So I have a yoga studio, kind of like brick and mortar home, which is someone else's business. But I also have the same thing for my dance world. So my dance studio that I work at is CC & Co. in Raleigh as well. And that's where I teach all of my dance. And actually next year I'm going to get some other exciting classes thrown in. But that's really how I like to do things. I like to have a dance home, a yoga home, and then I get to have my own thing in the middle. That's all online. Other things that I have done to fill my day include working full-time at that previous dance studio. So I was like there at a desk that was mine that I would work at all day and then I would go teach. I've also worked for other small part-time jobs during the day. I get to spend a lot of time with my goddaughter now, which is so exciting. But yeah, I think the most important thing as a dance teacher or yoga teacher or fitness instructor is just to know that you have the ability to piecemeal your schedule. It's not for everyone, but for me, I love it. I love piecemealing my schedule together. It means that if I ever want to take a puzzle piece out, or if I lose my job, like the pandemic did to my dance world, pull that one out. I have other things to support myself. I know that that kind of variation is not for everyone. And trust me, there are some days where I'm like, I just don't want to work until 10 p.m. or wake up at 8 a.m. or 6 a.m. Because I'm working in so many different jobs to have different schedules. But I think it's worth it for me overall. I like the variety and flexibility. So my work week looks kind of a variety day to day. Some days I'm teaching for the yoga studio, then I'm doing my own work, and then I'm doing the dance studio. Other days I'm just doing emotionally available. It really just depends on the day. However, I like that flexibility. I like it being different every day. And I like working on my own schedule, which is pretty cool. So that makes me really happy. How did I become a yoga or dance teacher? So this is a really different question for everyone, depending on what your goals are. So if you're a yoga teacher, it's important that you go ahead and get your 200-hour RYT. That's your registered yoga trainer. And you can look up some of those options through Yoga Alliance, or often, my last yoga studio is doing this, does RYTs. So you can go ahead and search them by studios that are offering them, or you can go to Yoga Alliance and kind of see what might be in your area and search that way. It's important that you get that RYT because you're going to get a really comprehensive education before you teach. I did actually teach yoga classes before I had my RYT. That was because I got trained through University Recreation at NC State, and they had their own kind of fitness training class program. And they trained me up the way they wanted me to teach yoga classes, and then I taught for them exclusively. You can teach that at 200-hour RYT, but I would not recommend it. You might see something called a 500-hour RYT. I would love to have the time to do that, but you see a lot of teachers who teach other teachers getting the 500-hour RYT. So I kind of think of like your 200-hour is your bachelor's and your 500-hour is your master's program. You might think about it like that. If you want to become a dance teacher, it really depends on where in the world you're teaching. If you're teaching in the UK or other places, it's more important to have your ISTD or your RAD levels of certifications. In the US, it's a little bit different. So I actually don't have one dance instructor certification, but I've taken a lot of trainings and I've done a lot of different programs. So for example, for dance, I have my Horton teacher training level 1. I have my PBT certification, progressing ballet technique. I have, of course, my 200-hour RYT actually has a ton of anatomy that helps me all the time in my dance classes. And then I was trained up by that last dance studio that I used to work at, and they really trained me to teach their curriculums. It's not uncommon in the US to have teachers that may have come from an RAD school or a Kacheni method school or different stuff. And then that school kind of decides what's right for them. Now, if you work at a dance studio that has more strict requirements, that's totally cool. I think that's great, but it does depend on the school. So also, if you're a parent looking for dance education for your child, do some research into what those different styles are. But if you're just getting started in the dance world, just go to a studio that makes you feel comfortable and happy. If your child really starts to excel and love it and want to progress and start testing in ballet and things like that, then you can start thinking about a certain syllabus. I think my ballet academy when I was little did RAD that's the Royal Academy of Dance curriculum for their pre-dance program. And then once you became an elementary school and middle school kid, you were on the Caccetti syllabus. And there's testing for different syllabuses in different schools of ballet. When it comes to jazz, hip hop, tap, they have their own trainings that are really important. If you're in the UK or in Europe, the ISTD is something you could look into as well to get trained. We are a real mixed bunch when it comes to the dance world. And I think that's because a lot of teachers are performers. They got a lot of their expertise from being in the professional field. I was never a professional performer, so I am doing a lot of trainings. And my teaching experience comes from the fact that I love teaching, and I happen to love teaching dance. Versus a professional dancer says, I'm obsessed with dance. I'm no longer a professional teacher, or I still do professional dance sometimes. And I also want to teach, right? I came from the opposite direction. I love teaching. I think I'm going to do dance versus I'm a professional dancer and now I'm going to teach. So that's something to think about. Let's see, what else do I got here? How did I come in? Dance teacher, got it. Oh, what's up with running? So I posted on my story like a big happy saga of like why running was so intense with Paul the other day. And the reason is because when I was in college, I ran for the University of Tampa. And then I was really injured and had to stop. And I couldn't run anymore. And I went to NC State instead and did a lot of other amazing sports and found dance again. And it was amazing. But I ran from 6th grade all the way through 12th grade and then worked really hard to get to a D2 school so I could be a college athlete. I had to stop because of patella tendonitis, and I had patella tendonitis through high school too. I just kept fighting it and healing and then fighting it and healing, and it was a lot. Running was like my whole life. I did not do dance or yoga or anything else in high school. That was it. And the decision to step away from running in my freshman year of college was really hard, and it was really emotional. I think a lot of dancers and yogis, but particularly dancers, they get this when I talk about this. When you're so just entrenched in a competitive environment, like running, and then you obviously don't have that all of a sudden, it's like there's a big void you got to fill, and you got to figure out what's really important to you. And that was a big journey. So now I run sometimes. I wish I could run more, but I obviously have to just take it day by day with my knee. And yeah, I had a really nice run the other day, so I shared it on my story. Why did you start Mostly Available? So I kind of gave you the spiel of how it came to be at the beginning of this talk, but I started it because I was the teen and young adult that wanted to dance. I wanted to become better at yoga. I wanted fitness, but I didn't know how to access it. I felt like I had missed my prime, especially in the dance world. And I didn't have the resources to get back to class. And I don't necessarily mean financial resources, though dances can be very expensive. But I also mean I didn't have classes that were available to me. So it took me getting to college to realize that modern dance loved many body types and loved people at different levels. That was so nice because I would go into like upper teen or young adult ballet classes, and I would get really overwhelmed because a lot of those dancers had been in the studio for a long time or maybe were pre-professional. And even though us mere mortal adults were invited to come and welcomed by the teacher, I always just felt uncomfortable. I don't feel that way now. I don't care what level I'm at in a class. I will just slog along and make it work. But at the time, I was embarrassed. It gave me a lot of anxiety to know that they were doing things just 2 clicks too fast. And that was really, really hard. Things that made it easier for me to be a teen and young adult, non-advanced ballet dancer was getting into modern dance instead, looking into my college program through the PE department. They had ballet classes, and also going to a bigger city to take dance classes. So anytime I went home to Connecticut, I would go to New York to see my friend Caroline, and New York just has more dance, right? So in Raleigh, there are wonderful adult classes, but I was not brave enough in in high school and college to do that. But now and then, New York had so many classes that you could find people that were more your level. And I think bigger cities just offer more options when it comes to activities sometimes. So there's nothing bad about Raleigh's adult dance program. I think they're wonderful. I have taught adult dance in Raleigh, and it's great. But at the time, for me, I found that New York was just a haven for adult dance, and it was really refreshing. So because I didn't have what I needed as a teen to continue dancing successfully, when I got to become a dance teacher, I realized that I was most drawn to the kids, teens, and adults that never thought they could do this, because that was me. I never thought I could get back to it. And I really love working with, I often say beginners, but maybe what it comes down to is people just didn't think they could do it. So no matter what level you're at, beginner, intermediate, advanced, I love working with the people that aren't sure that they deserve doing it. And it's actually like kind of an emotional topic, because I think that thing that stops us from starting new activities is like worthiness, right? Or not really listening to your gut, your intuition, that wisdom we all have within us to move well and move safely. And movement, I think, really stirs up a lot of deep stuff within us. So for example, my knee injury, if I am doing a lot of knee heavy exercise, I start getting nervous, and I have to think to myself, your knee doesn't hurt right now. You can do this. I know that movement used to hurt. It doesn't hurt now. Work through it. Stay calm. You've got this. Or when you think about if you've had any trauma, whether that be physical trauma or psychological trauma, and all of a sudden you're in a yoga class and there's a lot of hands-on corrections, that can bring up a lot of out of control feelings. When you're in a ballet class and there's no one at your level, you think, there's no one at your level, all of a sudden a lot of inadequacy can come in. And I think that I would just want a place where there's room to process those things, right? And they don't all have to be bad. It could be the good stuff that you're digging out too, like your intense wisdom, your intense intuition, your confidence that you're going to pull back out. And I think that is like the magic that makes emotionally available different than other stuff. So if you've been wondering if like you're worth the time, energy, and effort to do this new movement thing, you are, I promise. So it's that kind of feeling of wanting a place for myself, my former self, to be able to move with confidence, and also wanting to make sure that no one else is in the same place as an adult. Yeah, super good question. Why grown-ups? Why do I like working with grown-ups? It's for that same reason. I love working with grown-ups because I think we are really primed to surprise ourselves with what we can do. We've usually built up a lot of habits or boundaries, routines that maybe don't foster diving into our deepest and truest self. And I think movement just explodes those things. And it's my favorite way to break people out of themselves and that hard, calloused, boundaried kind of shell we put on. I do love teaching kids. I teach kids though in person at CC & Co. And like, I don't think I'll ever not be able to teach kids. I love teaching kids. I love making curriculums for them. I love doing the props. I love exploring what levels need what. I love thinking about the pedagogy of what different age groups can master and handle and learn. I love that. But I'm so lucky that my in-person dance satisfies that thing in me. I don't know, maybe if I didn't have any opportunities to teach kids in person, yeah, maybe emotionally available would get like a little sister studio that just deals with kids. That'd be cool. What's Horton? Okay, so if you've been following along, I'm going to be teaching a virtual intensive. It's actually happening now, but I'm teaching tomorrow, Sunday the 30th, and I'm going to be teaching a Horton class. You also might have seen Horton in my bio on Instagram or maybe on my website. Horton is a modern dance style founded by Lester Horton, made famous by Alvin Ailey. So a lot of people can recognize that name, Ailey. And he was a modern dance choreographer, and of course the Ailey company still lives on today, and it's just really, really amazing. So kind of like how ballet is all over the globe, and there's different schools that kind of teach ballet slightly differently. You can think of the modern dance world being the same way. There's different types of modern dance. There are the modern dance that follows Cunningham. There's the modern dance that follows Horton. There's the modern dance that is more Graham. And that's just like some of the biggest classical modern dances. There's so many more different styles. But it's essentially a style that follows a certain person, and that person set up pedagogy to teach that specific style in their way, Lester Horton's way. Now, when Alvin Ailey came along, he was trained in Horton, and then he also continued to make it himself, his own thing. You'll often see Ailey dancers dancing barefoot, which is traditionally modern, but you can also see them dancing more jazz and jazz shoes. You get more African influence. You get so many different things. So if you're wondering what Horton technique is, go look at Alvin Ailey, and you're going to see where that's kind of been exploded into, and really, really created to be more creative and unique and amazing. The actual Horton technique kind of feels like a ballet class. So the Horton technique is certain exercises we do in class to prepare our body for that dance style. So if you're coming to the virtual intensive and you're going to dance with me, or if you are going to come to a future Horton class with me, you can kind of expect certain exercises to be done in a certain order to prepare the body in a certain way to achieve the goals of the Horton technique. Some of those goals include really long bodies, long and strong. So we have our arms overhead a lot, doing lots of side bends, lateral bends, lots of flat back work versus rounded back work. And it creates a body that kind of looks like, to me, a Horton body, right? Someone who's like trained, is strong like a gymnast, but flexible like a ballet dancer. However, not hyper flexible. And when I say what a body looks like, I don't really think about what it looks like because, right, everybody is a dance body, but the kind of strength and stability and flexibility you have. So they are long and strong and like in shape. You'll see a lot of length, but also a lot of grounding. Do you hear the beeping? That's the coffee. So I think that Horton really is great for yogis, right? There's a lot of same feelings we get in class. A lot of those lateral bends, for example, look a lot like half moon. Halfway lift looks a lot like a flat back forward. And then for my ballet dancers, it's really great because it makes you even longer. How awesome. Horton does have straight arms rather than rounded. So it's longer, stronger, straighter. But that's really good because it really builds really, really specific trunk stability. And something that I love about Horton is it really makes you tap into your pelvic tilt. So when you dance and you're standing straight up and down, your pelvis is straight up and down. When you bend forward, your pelvis goes like this, right? But when you are doing Horton, because everything is so long and straight, as you bend and move different directions, really evident to feel where that pelvic tilt is. And I think that's really, really valuable as a dancer, as a yogi, as everyone. So it's one of my favorite modern dance styles. And if you've been seeing me talk about it a lot, that's why I'm going to be offering it at the intensive tomorrow with Rosie. So exciting. And I think I'm going to offer some more modern classes coming up promotionally available. Those are my FAQs, guys. I'm so happy you were watching. If you're thinking about jumping into yoga or dance or fitness, please look up our promotionally available membership. Sometimes it's hard, right, to like talk about your own stuff, but this is the program I wanted 10 years ago for myself, 15 years ago for myself, that I would have loved to be a participant in. And everything I do is teaching to the former me and the people that I just really believe are part of the emotionally available tribe. And that is adults who are really just dying to dive into a deeper mind-body connection in their yoga, dance, and fitness and movement in general. To me, all those styles are just movements. And they make me happy. They make me feel connected to myself. When I do them, I feel closer to my truth, closer to my well of wisdom. And that's the same feedback that I get from other people who start working with us. So I hope you become one of those people. If you have any questions for me about anything I talked about, like if you're an upcoming teacher, or maybe you're a parent trying to get into dance for their kid, or maybe you are just like, have some other random question, let me know. I would love to hear about it. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you again real soon. Bye, guys. See you later.